Is it a good idea or a bad idea to copy the pros in tennis? Hey everyone, Coach Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this video we're going to go over some of the pros and some of the cons of trying to emulate a specific player or a specific stroke. Now it's a question that we get asked a lot. Should I be modeling my game on, let's say, Federer's game? Should I be trying to copy Nadal's forehand? Now, before we get any deeper into this video, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our future lessons. Now, it can be very beneficial when you're trying to master the fundamentals of a specific stroke, but it can also be very negative when we're trying to make our forehand look exactly like Nadal's forehand, for example. And what tends to happen is players get so obsessed over the small details of a specific stroke that they forget about actually mastering the fundamentals. So it could be the Federer forehand. Players will think about exactly what Federer is doing in this racket drop position. They forget about actually using the body to produce that power and using the body in the most energy efficient way. So it can be a very beneficial thing, but it can also be a very negative thing. What we want to avoid is trying to make our swing look exactly like someone else's, because every single body is different. So my natural swing won't look like someone else's, just like they'll struggle to make their swing identical to mine. But what we can both do is master the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are simply the things that will help us to produce the best result on a specific stroke. So if we analysed some of the biggest forehands in the world, we'd see that they're all using the same fundamentals. This may be the coiling of the upper body. This will be using the ground force, making sure that they're using the correct stances, so the neutral, the open or the semi-open stance, and avoiding the closed stance. This may be the racket lag face prior to the contact point. And it could be making sure that they're making contact out in front of their body and having a good follow through. So all of these are fundamentals that we should all be looking to implement into a specific stroke, but that doesn't mean that I now go out and try to make my forehand look exactly like Rafael Nadal's, because my focus will be on making my swing look like his, but not the fundamentals. So where it can be a very good thing is analysing the best servers in the world and seeing what they all do, the common traits that they all have. This could be the leg drive, having a consistent ball toss, making sure that they're using the continental grip. All of these things we'll see time and time again. If we study a lot of players, we'll see that they have the same fundamentals on a certain stroke. So on the backhand, it could be making sure that they get that coil with the upper body at the start of the swing. Making sure that the racket head is above the grip level so they have space to accelerate. Making sure that they're loading with the legs, stepping into the shot as they make contact, or making sure that they're transferring their weight through that contact point. But what happens is I may master those fundamentals in a slightly different way to somebody else. My swing on the backhand might look very different to someone like Wawrinka, but we're still using the same fundamentals. And that's the most important thing. Are we mastering the fundamentals of each stroke, but having our own twist to the swing? Because we don't have to look like Federer to have a very good forehand. We don't have to look like Nadal to have a lot of spin on that shot. We can have our own unique game, and actually that's very important that we keep that identity, so we master our own game, but by using those fundamentals. So it's a very good thing to analyze the players and look for those common traits, find those common fundamentals that players are using time and time again on a certain stroke, and then use that for our own game. But it's a very bad thing to try to make our forehand or our backhand or our serve look identical to someone else. Now I know from experience that when I was younger, I tried to model my forehand and my backhand on Andre Agassi. and I spent countless hours working on trying to model my forehand to make it look exactly like him. So I would spend hours and hours hitting on my ball machine, just working on leading with the elbow, making sure that I get the racket at that position, but I actually neglected those fundamentals. So I stopped thinking about loading with the legs. I stopped thinking about really coiling with the upper body. And I actually wasted a lot of time working on a forehand that never actually worked for me. Yes, I maybe had some really good days, but I also had really bad days, and in matches my forehand would break down because that wasn't my natural swing, and I never mastered those fundamentals. And actually what happened was, one day I got so sick of trying to copy Agassi's forehand that I just went back to a more natural swing. I started lifting the racket head higher. I stopped obsessing over those small details on my forehand, and I just worked on those fundamentals. So making sure that I was loading with the legs, making sure that I was coiling the upper body, making sure that I'm storing energy in the trunk muscles, making sure that my non-hitting hand is tracking the ball. All of these things are the fundamentals, and actually my forehand improved massively when I stopped obsessing over those small things and focused on the big things. So it's a very good idea to go and watch the slow motion of the pros. Watch Federer playing in slow motion. Watch Nadal playing in slow motion. Watch all of them hitting their strokes, and look for those common traits that we can spot time and time again with a bunch of different players. If you see only one player using it, maybe it only works for that specific player. But if we're seeing 10 players using the exact same coiling with the body, then we know that that's a fundamental, and we know that we can then implement that into our own games. And that's actually one of the ways that you'll improve the quickest, looking for those fundamentals, mastering those common traits, and having your own twist with your own unique style. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel of course, and turn on that notification bell. Signing off, Coach Simon from TTT. All the best, and see you soon, guys.